This is how you want to bribe a politician. Sadly, the government doesn't seem to like that. But, however, with all things, if the check is big enough, there's a way to do it. So, let's get into it. Now to start off, what we're looking for is called quid pro quo, or a thing for a thing, or in this case, money for a political favor, or pretty much getting the politician to do something that you want them to do. Now, it's established in Buckley v. Valeo that they don't like this, and they don't want this happening, because corruption is bad. So, there's a limit on the person-to-politician donation that any one person can do. Now, later, in 2010, there's the Citizens United versus FEC. Now, this establishes that as long as a corporation does not coordinate with a politician, it is unconstitutional to limit the amount of spending that this corporation can spend to promote a politician. Now, this overruled Austin v. Michigan, which limited the amount of spending that a corporation could spend to promote a single politician. Why was it found unconstitutional to limit this spending? Because it violated the corporation's First Amendment rights as a person. Obviously. And lastly is the SpeechNow.org versus FEC case, which also happened in 2010. Now, what this established is that it was unconstitutional to limit a person's spending towards a corporation for political purposes. A fun fact about this court case is that it was never actually ruled on in the Supreme Court. So if anyone wanted to, I don't know, fix this little loophole that I'm going to be talking about in a little bit, they could go ahead and just send it to the Supreme Court and get that fixed. But why would anyone want to do that when we have such a large economic system based around, lobbying? Alright, so those are the rules. So let me explain exactly how to bribe a politician. So like I explained earlier, there's a capped amount of how much you can give a politician directly. This is to stop bribery. However though, there's no limit to how much money you can give to a corporation for political purposes, and there's also no limit on how much a corporation can spend for political purposes, as long as they don't coordinate with the candidate. The catch, though, is that if that corporation is already spending money on a candidate and those two did not coordinate, there's nothing stopping you from coordinating with that candidate, saying that you'll give money to that corporation in order for a political favor. But it does have one downside. If this is done with something called a PAC corporation, which is what the majority of these political campaign corporations are, the list of who donates to these corporations and what this money is being spent on is public property. Anyone can see it. And what this can lead to is those pesky poor people getting quite angry. But, as you can tell by the timestamp of the video, that's not the end to this. Now, to fix this little problem with the system, we have these companies called shadow money companies. Now, what these are non-for-profit companies that don't need to share the list of who donates to them, as long as they don't include one thing in the campaign ads that they're creating. Vote for blank. Before that, they could say whatever they want. They can diss a politician, they can promote a politician, they can tell you to eat your own grandma. They just can't have that call of action to vote for a politician or for a particular party at the end of it. And as long as they do that, their donors can be completely kept private, making sure that if you illegally bribe your politician, no one needs to know about it. And that, ladies and gentlemen of the upper class, is how you bribe a politician.